Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The story The Gifted begins with a girl named Clarice, who is running terrified because she is now escaping from prison, and the police cars are chasing her. This girl has a superpower, and suddenly the police corner her in one place. She opens a portal and manages to teleport herself, escaping instantly from the area, and the police can't catch her at all. In another place, we see someone named Marcos, John, and Lauren. All three of them also have superpowers. They want to reach the other mutants by any means because they know the police are after them, and they want to save their kind. One of them, using his power, finds out that Clarice is currently being chased by the police, and that she has escaped. They also find out her location and head there immediately. As soon as they enter, she is scared, so they try to reassure her and tell her that they are not here to arrest her, and that they are mutants like her. To make her believe them, they show her their powers. As soon as she sees this, she calms down and trusts them. But while they are talking, police cars appear outside and surround the whole place. Lauren then tries to use her powers and starts attacking the police cars with energy, trying to destroy the area to give her friends a chance to escape. She manages to destroy the cars and cause chaos, and her friends escape immediately. Lauren also tries to run after them, but the police shoot at her, and Marcos, Lauren's boyfriend, gets injured. Lauren gets furious and attacks the police with all her power, wanting to finish them off, as they are not giving up either. The whole team manages to escape, but Lauren is confronted by a larger number of police, and they manage to catch her, handcuff her, and arrest her. Her friends are forced to flee, because if they return, they will be arrested too. Now let's go to another place, where we see Reed and his wife, who are at their children's school, and are very upset because their son is constantly bullied and beaten by other kids. Reed tells them he will sue the school. He actually works with the police and interrogates those who are arrested. He tells them he will shut down the school. The teacher gets very worried and tries to calm him down, promising to handle the issue himself and assuring him that nothing will happen to his son again. Reed tells him, "I hope so, for your own good." At that moment, Reed gets a call from the police, telling him that a new mutant has been arrested, and that he needs to come for the interrogation. Reed leaves immediately, and goes to the police station, where he sees Lauren and starts talking to her. She tells him, "I haven't committed any crimes at all. I was just trying to save my friends." But he has his own way of dealing with things and enters her cell without fear. She asks, "Aren't you afraid?" She realizes there is a chip in his leg, so she tries to move it with her power and tells him, "Look, I could have hurt you and the officers who caught me, but I didn't." He tells her she must cooperate so they can find out where her mutant friends are hiding, and shows her some papers telling her that she is pregnant by Marcos, her friend, and that she must cooperate with him. But she still refuses and doesn't say anything, so he leaves immediately. Now let's go to Reed's house, where we see his daughter, Lauren, getting ready because she's going out to a party. When she's done, she goes downstairs with her mother and her brother Andy. They have breakfast together and chat. When they finish, she leaves to go to her party. On the way, her brother Andy tells her he's bored and wants to go out with her for a change of atmosphere. She tells him if anyone finds out, he'll get in trouble. He says, "Don't worry, no one will know." She agrees and takes him with her to the party. While there, the boys who used to bully him at school see him. As soon as they spot him, they point at him and go over to bother him because he complained to his parents and his father caused trouble. They tell him, "We'll show you," and drag him to the bathroom, where they beat him up, ilt him, bully him, and throw water on him. At that moment, Andy gets very upset and loses control. He starts screaming with all his might, and it turns out he has a superpower, because his scream literally shakes the place and almost destroys it. Everyone at the party flees immediately. At that moment, his sister Lauren enters, and it turns out she also has a superpower. She can control objects and manages to save her brother before he gets hurt by anything falling on him. She takes him, and they both escape from the place until they get outside, saving his life. They return home, and their mother finds out what happened. She is shocked to learn that they are mutants, as she didn't know this before. She is terrified, because their father's job is to hunt down and arrest mutants. While they are at home, before they can do anything, there is a knock at the door. It's the authorities who have found out they are mutants. Their mother tries to close the door and protect her children, but the agents force their way in. The kids use their powers. Andy screams loudly. Lauren controls objects so no one can touch them. Then she hides her brother and mother, and they escape immediately, get in their car and drive far away from the house. They keep going until they find a gas station and stop there. Their mother calls Reed and tells him what happened, and that he needs to do something. He is shocked and doesn't know what to do, but then he joins them, and tells them, "You are mutants now, and the police arrest me. Believe me, You have to leave the country because I know what they do to them. Inside, how they treat them brutally with no mercy. And I will not let that happen to you. Knowing the police won't help and that they want his children, he decides to make an alternative plan and then contacts Marcos, who is Lauren's boyfriend, the outsider whom he was interrogating a while ago, and making a deal with, telling him that now his children are among the outsiders and that he wants to get them out of the country, and in exchange for this, he will help him and get his beloved out of prison, to which he immediately agrees. They also agree on a place to meet at night. After hanging up, he returns to his wife and tells her everything that happened, so she tells him to be very careful because they are criminals. At night, we then see him go to the place where he will meet Marcus. Marcus arrives and they sit together and talk for a while. But during this, a large number of police cars arrive and manage to surround the entire place. They try to escape as quickly as possible, and all the mutants start using their powers on the police. But the police have an advanced device, robots shaped like scorpions, that attack them at a terrifying speed. They manage to capture one of them, but the others free him and run out of the place. He then tells Clarice to use her powers to open a portal and transport them to another place. She actually starts doing this, using all her strength, and keeps the portal open so they can all pass through one after another. But in the end, Reed is left behind and gets caught. When his children see this, they try to go back to save him, but Clarice can't hold on any longer, and the portal closes. Let's move on to Lauren, who is now in prison, tied up with a collar around her neck that prevents her powers from working. The authorities arrive at her cell, and she tries to use her powers but fails. Every time she tries, the collar shocks her and hurts her. She changes her clothes and walks through the place, and during this she sees a very strange-looking prisoner. She goes to talk to her because she's alone and doesn't know anyone here, but the girl is very scared and points her to another woman, the leader who controls the place. She's afraid they'll beat her for talking to Lauren and tells her not to talk to her again before leaving immediately. Lauren then walks around the yard, but during this, the leader comes and tells her that she's in charge here and Lauren must obey her in everything, but Lauren refuses. They grab her and start beating her badly. Because of her pregnancy, she tries to use her powers until she succeeds in lifting a table from afar and hitting the girl, throwing her into the wires. She was about to finish her off when the guards arrive and stop her, throw her into solitary confinement and lock her up. Lauren sits there crying, not knowing what to do because she's pregnant and unjustly imprisoned. Let's move on to Clarice, Marcus, the other mutants, and Reed's children. We see Clarice, who is very exhausted, and they try to help her, but because of her fatigue, she starts using her powers unconsciously, opening random portals to strange places that anyone could come through. They try to control her but can't, so the children's mother says they need to take her to a hospital before her body collapses. But they refuse because the police will find their location and arrest them. She tells them there's another solution. She has some medical training and knows of a treatment that could calm Clarice. They decide to go get it, sneak quietly into the hospital, and reach the medicine room, managing to get what they need. At that moment, security sees them and points their weapons at them, so they run, security chasing after them, until they manage to escape, reach their car, and drive off. But they can't get out because the place is literally collapsing and there's no way out. They jump through the open portals until they reach Clarice, give her the treatment, save her life, and she calms down and returns to normal. After a while, she recovers, but the place is completely destroyed. Now let's go to the police, or the organization hunting these outsiders. We see Reed being interrogated by a man named Jack, who is very tough and tries to get any information from him about the outsiders or their children, but Reed refuses because he knows their methods and what they would do to them. They leave him and go to Lauren, trying to get information from her too, but she refuses to say anything. They threaten to keep torturing her until she talks and say they'll transfer her to an even more dangerous prison with worse people, but she still refuses. After they leave, she tries to use her powers, but the collar shocks her, and she collapses on the floor. Jack then goes to Reed and tries to convince him to tell them the location of the mutants, promising to clear his name and not to worry about his children, as they'll find a way to get them out. Reed is convinced, agrees, and they let him go, but with a GPS tracker. He goes to one of the mutants and tries to get information about Marcus's location. The man agrees and takes him to his house because at night, they'll go to Marcus's location. While there, Reed sees a mother and her young son who tells him her son also has powers. The government wants to arrest him, and she just wants him to live somewhere safe and have a normal life as he doesn't hurt anyone. Reed is deeply moved, thinks of his own children, and decides to change his mind. He tells the man they're being tracked, but the man uses his powers to hide his car. Reed says his body now has a GPS tracker that needs to be removed, but he refuses to stop because they'll be caught. Reed jumps out of the car so they won't get hurt, and the car disappears from the police trackers. Jack tells Reed what he did was wrong, that he wasted his children's last chance to get out, and that Jack will get to them his own way. As for the mutants, we see them at their hideout, talking about wanting to get Reed and Lauren out of prison. Reed's wife suggests using her many contacts to help get her husband out, but her children refuse to let her go alone and insist on going with her to protect her. They reach her brother, who, after learning everything that happened, and that her children are mutants with the world after them, tells her he can't help but she can stay the night, and he'll give her the money she needs. She is shocked that her brother won't help. Meanwhile, her children play with their cousins, and one of them uses his powers to impress them, but his cousin films him and posts the video, which will of course let the police know their location again. One day, they come to the Hajun Center to take Red's wife, and when her brother sees them, he gets very upset and tells them they must leave immediately. But when they look out the window, they find the locals gathered there, and there's a reward offered for anyone who captures any fugitive. The locals want that reward at any cost. She begs her brother to help them get out of there, so he goes out and tells the people that there's no one at his place and that they should leave. But the man hits him and tries to force his way. However, the little boy, with his strength, throws them all far away. Marcus comes out and threatens them with his power, warning that he'll finish them off, so they retreat. They get in the car and leave the place immediately, but the locals also get into their cars and start chasing them, shooting at them, wanting to catch them no matter what. So, they call the fugitives inside the hideout and ask for their help because they don't want to harm innocent people. One of the mutants has the power to convince anyone to do anything she wants, and she asks Lars to open a portal to move them here, which she does. The car comes out of the portal, and she closes it immediately, and they manage to save the situation. We then see her with John and Marcus, and they drive in their car to go meet her brother, because he asked to see her. He tells her that he knows the mutants are innocent, and didn't commit the crimes they're accused of in the news. He says he's decided to help her, and will also try to get some people out of prison. He tells her that her husband will be transferred to a secret place where they imprison mutants and the most dangerous fugitives, and that Luna, a girl, will be with him. She asks him why he doesn't try to prevent the transfer so they can get him out, but he says he doesn't know how to do that. He says they'll try, but her husband might never get out of prison again. She says no, he'll get out, laughs, and leaves. Meanwhile, in prison we see Luna, who's with Jack. He takes her from solitary confinement to the general prison and tells her she's being rewarded so she can leave here. As for the mutants, we see them all gathered in the hideout, and they manage to determine the date of the prisoner's transfer. They decide to make a plan to help Luna and Red escape, but they need help. So Jal, the young man, says, "Promise me you're thinking what I'm thinking." And he turns out to be right. Marcus wants help from the gangs he used to work with, because they don't know the exact transfer date, and he actually escaped from them before. They tell him if he goes to ask for help, they won't let him go. He says, "Don't worry, I have to save my lover and her unborn child no matter what," and leaves the place to go to where the gang is. He sees the boss's assistant, gets searched, and goes in, only to be surprised that the boss's daughter has taken over after her father died. He talks to her and says he needs her help. She tells him she only helps her friends and people she works with. He understands she wants him to come back, so he agrees. She makes some calls and finds out the transfer date, but refuses to tell him. She says he has to do something for her first, takes him with her, and leads him into a room where a traitor is tied up. She tells Marcus to use his power to find out where the traitor took something she wants, and he does. The man confesses everything, so they find out the transfer date. Marcus leaves and returns to his friends, who are very upset. He tells them the transfer date, and they start planning how to get the two out of prison. In prison, we see Luna alone, thinking. Red talks to her and says they should cooperate to get out, unaware that their friends are already planning their escape. The next day, the transfer happens. They're handcuffed and put in the cars. Meanwhile, the mutants are in position, each taking their place and waiting for the cars. The two try to stop the wheels with their powers, but their powers aren't working, and they don't know. Even the invisible person, when he gets close, starts to appear, and the police see him. All the mutants' powers aren't working, and John sees in front of him a mutant he thought was dead. This mutant's power is to disable any mutant's power, and now he works with the police. John is shocked. He saw him die before. They fight, and John manages to break the mutant's control. All the mutants get their powers back and start dealing with the police. Luna's power returns and she knocks the car door off its hinges. The battle outside is still raging, and all the mutants are fighting the police until Luna appears, uses her power and pulls all the weapons away from the police. Her power is honestly huge. She stops them in seconds. The friends stand there stunned, then the team takes them and flees the place immediately.